Hello and welcome back to my channel, or if you are here for the first time, hi, my name is Sarah. I'm a graphic designer with a passion for planning, organization, and budgeting. Today is actually our 1-year wedding anniversary. Absolutely crazy. Where does the time go? But I'm going to be talking a little bit about the registry items that I think you need that we've actually used a whole year later. First, I'm going to talk about 2 reasons that I think that a registry is very important and actually good. If you are at all going to receive any gifts for your wedding, if anybody's going to be there, like outside of your 2 parents, it's probably a good idea. And there are 2 reasons why. 1, people like purchasing gifts that they know that you're going to like. Yeah, that seems pretty self-explanatory, but whenever I buy a gift, I like knowing that this person picked this out, that they're going to be excited to have it. And there's a lesser argument that if you don't pick something out, people might just buy you something that maybe wouldn't be what you would pick out for yourself. But the second and kind of bigger reason that I personally think registries are so great is because you can put all of this time into thinking about what you really want, what you would really use. And that means that less things are being manufactured that you're not going to use. You can actually take the time to pick items that are good quality that you're going to have for a long time. So all of that means that you get more purchasing power for somebody's dollar. So the money that somebody spends on you or gifts you or whatever can go towards something that you're really going to use. And they're getting more bang for their buck. You won't end up receiving a bunch of items, throwing a bunch away, donating something that doesn't get used or that kind of stuff. So those are the 2 reasons that I think registries are really important. Now let's really get into the video and show you what we've actually used and what I think are maybe some unpredictable or unexpected necessities. So for anyone that's curious, we registered at Crate & Barrel in Zola. We received probably most of our registry, I would say, and I specifically chose these 2 places because I knew that we would be able to spend money there if we got any extra gift cards, had to return anything for any reason. So that's a really good tip, is pick somewhere, Target. You can always spend more money at Target, right? Or that kind of place is always a really good option because you can always spend more money there. There's also the added thing of some of these bigger stores like your Crate & Barrel, your Williams-Sonoma, that kind of stuff will have lines that are specific to that store of like the bigger brands, which we'll talk a little bit about later, but it is another added bonus for going with a store like that. I talked to my husband Chris about this, and we kind of came to agreement of the things that we think are really worth your money, and I'm going to start with the lower price point. It's good to have a good mix on your registry because, somebody who's straight out of college that you're inviting might not have the same budget as your retired grandmother or something like that. So first item, this is probably Chris's favorite registry purchase. I'm gonna read out the name. This is the FSC Teak Large Rectangular Cutting Board with Well. So as you can see, it has this divot on the edge, and we've had this for over a year. It's still in pretty good condition. It's kind of cracking over here, but we don't expect these to last forever. The reason that these are so great is 1, because they're big. I mean, look at it compared to me. It's a large cutting board. They're really beautiful. So you can, put these against the wall and cover up some ugly backsplash or something like that. But this well also makes it really, really great for cutting meat. So if you are a meat eater, this is definitely an essential. This is a cooked meat cutting board for us. I'm pretty sure that wood can absorb some yucky stuff unless you're like treating it a certain way. We haven't done that, so this is a cooked meat kind of thing. So we put our Thanksgiving turkey on here, got carved on here. Anytime we barbecue a tri-tip or anything, it goes on here. And this well catches any of the liquid that may come off while you're cutting meat. Really great. I think the price point on this is around $50, but I will try to link anything below in case anybody's curious. This one came from Crate & Barrel, I believe, and it's definitely been a family favorite. So this one is a little heavy, so I'm not going to hold the whole thing up. But the next thing that I think you need is a cake stand. Cake plate, cake stand. This one is all, as you can see, clear glass, and this one's from Crate & Barrel. I don't really remember the price point on this, but a cake stand is really great. I mean, putting any sort of baked goods on there, if you do any sort of entertaining, having something that lifts and gives a little bit of dimension is just so nice. We've used this an astonishing amount. I mean, my birthday cake went in here. We put scones in here for Thanksgiving. Like I said, we put all of this stuff here. And you can get one in basically every decor style. Every store ever has them. We have a couple more of the Spode Blue Italian line and that kind of stuff. I particularly recommend this one because one, it's flat, which means that you can put something all the way to the edge, but it has this little rim here, meaning that nothing's gonna fall off. Second, the reason that I recommend it is because it has a top. I think this is just so beautiful. It looks so pretty. And we've used it just like an absolute ton. Really, really good bang for your buck if you do any sort of entertaining or if you have a baker in your family. Really, really great one. The third lower price point item that I absolutely think everybody needs is a great water pitcher. This one we actually didn't register for, but it is from Target originally. I actually thrifted it in a thrifting video that I posted a few videos back. And we just use it all the time. If you do any sort of entertaining, if you like eating dinner together as a family or you plan on eating dinner together as a family, it's really nice. You throw some ice and water and you all have a pitcher of water. That means that you don't have to get up from the table. Even if you're having, you know, just snacks, having people over for games and snacks, it's so nice to have a water pitcher. Again, they come in tons of different styles. They're really cost efficient, like they're not very expensive at all, and they can serve as decor pieces. So we actually keep this one on a set of decor open shelving things that we have, and it just gets washed whenever we need to use it. But I mean, we use this constantly, just all the time, even for yourself with everybody working from home. You don't have to get up all the time to go get yourself more water. Highly recommend a water pitcher. But a tip in here would be, what do you actually use and what do you actually love? I drink a lot of water, so a water pitcher really makes sense. But if you're big into coffee, you can buy something like little espresso cups. I have some, let me show you. So these guys are from Crate & Barrel and they're just tiny little espresso cups. But if you like coffee, buy things that mean coffee. And the last item is a random one, a hand vac. This is a Shark cordless hand vacuum. But oh my goodness, what was I doing before this? Now I think this is around the $50 point. Some of the various uses: take it out to your car and vacuum out the carpet in your car. When you're sweeping and trying to get everything into a dustpan and you have that annoying bit of dust that you can never seem to get in the dustpan, just vacuum it up. Pull out your couch cushions and vacuum that. I mean, these things are really powerful and I just use it constantly. I don't know what I was doing before having one of these. I would highly recommend putting one of these on your registry. It's just incredibly easy and incredibly convenient. So now moving into the higher price point items. The first is actually behind me back here. And I'm gonna bring it closer and then I'm gonna put it down because it's heavy. And this is I'm reading the name out, the Classic Le Creuset 5.5 quart Dutch oven. This is in the color cream, which is offered at Crate & Barrel. And I'm gonna set this down because it's seriously so heavy, which is why it stays out on here, but also because we use it a ton. So we actually have a few different pieces of Le Creuset, both the stoneware and the cast iron. But I think that if you're going to just go for one piece, yes, it's like the most expensive piece that you could possibly get from them, but go for the Dutch oven. If you like a pot roast, you can throw them in there. If you like baking bread, you can throw it in there. The coating keeps everything cooking very, very evenly, and the inside coating makes it super easy to clean too. You can throw them in the oven for hours, like I said, for a pot roast. And they last forever. I'm pretty sure they have like a lifetime guarantee. My parents have theirs from when they got married, you know, 25, 30 almost years ago, and they just keep forever. They're just the absolute best, and I highly recommend them. And I'm not even a cook. This is kind of a, I don't know, superficial thing, but they're also beautiful. You can get replacement knobs for the top. So ours is black, but you could get them like in gold tones or things like that, any kind of metallic tone. A tip for this particular item would be to have the person that cares more about the specifications pick the specifications. Chris knew that he wanted at least 5.5 quarts, but that it needed to fit on the oven and our burners and all of these other things. I knew I wanted cream. I wanted a color that would last forever, and that's a tip to use in your registry building too, is to have the person that cares about it more pick it out, like that cutting board. I did not pick that, but that cake stand, yes I did, because Chris is the cook and I'll make the food look pretty after it's prepared. So another piece of Le Creuset that we have is this covered square casserole dish. We also have the au gratin dish, another covered casserole dish. This is in the color indigo, which is probably my favorite Le Creuset color ever, but I'm gonna set it down because it's heavy and loud. This is used for a bunch of different things. The big one, which I'll put a picture right here of, we used for Thanksgiving stuffing. We put enchiladas in this guy, cinnamon rolls, anything that you're baking. This is the stoneware line. It's just really, really easy to use and clean. And we've used this a lot, and besides all the smudgy fingerprints on it, they've stayed so nice. Probably got this 6 months before our wedding as a gift, so even like a year and a half later, they've stayed so nice, and we use them seriously a lot. Kind of went ham on adding the Le Creuset to our registry, so we have like a saucepan, this covered casserole, the big casserole, the Dutch oven. We even have a pie pan, which pie pans are all the same. You don't need a Le Creuset pie pan. But you know, they last forever. They're so beautiful, and I think that they're really worth it to add to your registry. The second item is also behind here, and this is our set of Wusthof knives. Wusthof, I don't actually know how to say it. I have some additional knives in here from our previous knife set, but like I've said multiple times in this video, I am not the cook of the family. I've been doing more cooking in the last few months since I'm working from home because of the current situation than I ever have. But genuinely, getting a good set of knives that lasts forever changes the game. I used to be so grossed out by cutting raw chicken because, ew, that is still kind of gross if I think about it too much. But having a good knife that just slides through anything you're cutting, even if it's vegetable, if you're cutting big potatoes and spaghetti squash, like you need a good set of knives. Having something like more expensive like this really will last forever. And in addition to that, a lot of these platforms like Zola, you can have a gift contribution or a group contribution towards a gift. Where multiple people can pay in. So, you know, your friends all put $30 in and they can get you something really, really incredible. Those are very expensive knives, but seriously, I love them. I'll never go back. They're gonna last forever, and I'm so happy with them. Finally, you can't see it because it's in this little corner, but our KitchenAid stand mixer. I mean, seriously, is there anything more classic wedding registry than a stand mixer? Ours is from Crate & Barrel, and like I talked about a little bit earlier with the specific colors that you can only get at particular retailers, this is one of them. This is the matte milkshake color. It's kind of like a beigey light taupe kind of color. Very neutral, very pretty, hopefully will last forever. My tip that comes along with this one, it is to go for things that will spark joy, whether that's a traditional item or not. I had heard my entire life that this KitchenAid stand mixer is going to be what you get for your wedding. So I was really excited in this season of life to have that as this, wow, we're like really getting married. We have like a Le Creuset Dutch oven and a KitchenAid stand mixer. Like that was a really big thing to me. But if you don't ever bake, or you know, your apartment doesn't allow you to have that kind of space, don't buy one. Go register for backpacking equipment at REI or a record player. It can be a whole wide variety of things. Basically all these different retailers, you know, from Target to whatever, fill in the blank, has a registry option. So a couple of final tips before I let you go. One, if you're going with something like a Crate & Barrel, go to one of their registry events. It was so much fun. We went to our local store in Denver. It's really easy to get to. They closed the whole store down, and it's just engaged couples walking through and scanning things with your phone. I actually worked on ours a little bit beforehand, and then went into the store and just got to pick out the fun stuff like our silverware and our plates and stuff like that, versus like if you know you need a can opener, you can just put whatever can opener they offer, right? They're all kind of the same, and you can kind of tell online like what the main difference would be. Going into the store for the fun things was really a great option. They also have like food and champagne and stuff like that, which is really sweet. You can take a little bit of a break, you can sit on the couches and have a little bit of a snack. Great if you have people that maybe aren't super into shopping, like my husband wasn't. Getting them to go somewhere by bribing them with food was an excellent excellent option. If you are struggling to come up with items to add to your registry, one thing that I tried to think about was really, what are we going to use in the future? Yes, what are we going to use now? Like the cutting board we've used now, but also if you're hosting Thanksgiving in the house that you plan to buy in 5 years, what are you going to want then? A big roaster with a rack, maybe, or crystal or fine china or whatever, fill in the blank. That's, not a necessary purchase by any means. Think about, even outside of what you could currently use right now, what might you want? Can you store it at your parents' house? Can you put it in a box and put it in your closet? It doesn't have to be something that you're using right this second. This is a lifetime marriage. And you can choose things that maybe you won't use immediately, but you know that you'll use in the future. That's another tip if you're struggling to add things to your registry. My third and final tip, this one is a big one. Keep a running list, starting when you get engaged, of things you need to upgrade. Do you need a new can opener? Do you need new water glasses? Are your plates all chipped and gross and you'd really like to have a new set? Keeping a running tab of those things that you think that you need. I mean, you can register for like board games, right? Like if you're like, oh, it'd be so nice to have Catan right now, you can put that on your registry. What condition are your cutting boards in, your baking sheets, your cooling racks? Look around your kitchen and say, I do like this, but we only have 3 matching water glasses and I'd really like to have 8 or whatever. That is it for today's video. It's absolutely crazy that we're celebrating 1 whole year of marriage. I just can't even believe it. This time has flown by, and the fact that 366, this year was a leap year, so 366 days ago, I was like getting my makeup done and we were taking these pictures in my backyard with my bridesmaids, and which is just absolutely crazy. Very, very thankful for this whole year and everything that it has brought, despite it being maybe a little bit different than we had originally thought. We were supposed to be in Europe this weekend, and instead we are, at home, celebrating at home, and that is totally fine. Keeping a little bit of perspective is really important. Yes, registering for all these things is fun. Daydreaming about your Le Creuset or your KitchenAid or whatever is really fun, but at the end of the day, it's a marriage, right? It's a partnership with somebody that you love, and that's the most important thing. And anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I will see you next time. Bye!